Hello there, my name is Anthony Barocas from Aiba Communications, and I also run Frisco Studios here in Frisco, Texas. I am here to tell you about a great way for you to figure out which HDMI cable is which when you have a sea of cables that you're trying to manage. The solution is tape. Now, it's kind of funny when I hold this up. There's a couple of them that are translucent. It's because I'm on a green screen and 3 of these are green. So if I come in here and I take this green screen off, you'll see I've got like a yellow, which has a lot of green, green, dark green, which actually blends in really well with my background. And then I've got a light green. So just for the sake of discussion, we're going to take these 3 out. And I will link to this roll of this collection of tape in my description. It's very inexpensive, and there we go. Now you can see that I've taken the green ones out, and you can see that they work much better. If I pick the 3 green ones up, it's invisible. That is literally a yellow one on top. You can kind of see a little bit, but the 2 green ones, yeah, they don't work at all. So for the sake of television, we're not going to use those in this video. We're just going to use the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors, and these 3 make it 12. So 12 different colors for 12 different cables, which for my needs would be fantastic because I do a lot of videos about prosumer gear, and all of it uses HDMI cables. I need something that I could easily discern which is which, no matter what I've got it plugged into, and I need to be able to figure that cable out on both ends. And that is where I came up with the idea of coloring my cables. I searched for colored HDMI cables, and apparently it's not a thing. You can get a 10-pack of Ethernet cables colored in all sorts of colors. So if I'm doing Ethernet, I can have red and green and blue, and I can have all different sorts of colors. They have short black ones. These are great for patching between devices, which is really all I'm doing with the HDMI. And then you can get short cables like this that come in different colors as well. This is a thin Cat6 cable, which I find easier to manage than the thicker cables, Cat5. I find it very easy to see the color coding and make it easy to follow if the whole cable is colored like these are, except you cannot find a 10-pack of colored HDMI cables like you can with Ethernet. It's just not a thing. I've been looking for quite some time. So I posted in various groups, and somebody says use tape. And so we're going to try the tape method. And what I've done is I have labeled one of them right here. So it's red. Now the cable is not red, so doesn't make it easy to follow the cable. But if I only have one red end and I have one red on the other end, it's going to be easy to figure out, here it is, here's the start, here's the finish, here's the start, here's the finish. Oh, here's the laptop is blue, here's where the blue one goes. That's really what I'm after. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this out of the way, and I've already started with the red, and as you can see, this is wider. So I would say if you could get 1/4 inch tape, that would be great. This or 3/8 inch tape, that would be great. This is like 1 inch tape, just shy of 1 inch tape. And it's a little too wide, but I ran the razor down the middle of it, and the middle, cutting this in half, works out perfectly to fit these. So I will show you that. So here I'm going to pull out the other end of this cable. Here's the other end. And let me get a little more brightness here. And I have got this cut right here. So I only need so much. Actually, I think that's the other one. Let me go back. Here it is. So like that, and it does not have to be, it's not rocket science. This is just for visually identifying cables in a very fast way so that when you're doing production, it's, especially in the dark with black cables going to and fro, it makes it very difficult to figure out which is which. So if I have this on either end, I know which one this is. So if this is plugged in here, I know what this is, you know, even if it's just red. Let's see, where does this go? Oh, just for the sake of argument, we'll do this one. So this one, we're going to make blue. We're going to do this. I've got a razor here. And again, use a razor at your own risk. You can cut them however you like to cut them. I'm going to use a razor because that's really all I'm going to be using this for. And I'm going to just go down the middle here. Like that. This is paper tape. This is not electrical tape. You can also get electrical tape in various colors if you want. You're free to use electrical tape, but this is just a demonstration of the idea. You can use electrical, some people have mentioned shrink wrap or heat shrink tubing, I should say. Sorry, I didn't mean shrink wrap. And the problem I find with that is if you want to heat shrink the tubing here, it has to be big enough to get over the connector. If you want to heat shrink it here, you're talking some pretty big stuff. And then I really don't want to hit this with a whole lot of heat to shrink the tubing. I don't know how well all these cables are made and if the heat would mess with the jacket of this or anything on the inside. I just as soon leave it alone and use something a bit simpler. Put it on here. Another nice thing about paper tape is if it's not perfect, I could just pull it off and do it again. There you go. You can color code them bright to dark if you want. And if this one's in here now, this is really simple. I know what these two might be just based on the color. And that's going to make things a whole lot easier to deal with in terms of just knowing what is going where, how things are patched, which cable goes in what direction. Because if I am doing a review of my ATEM and I'm doing it into another video switcher to switch between this camera and my overhead camera, I've got two video switches on here. And there's been cases where I've done side-by-sides. So if I've got two video mixers and a third video mixer doing the switching, that's three different video mixers, plus there's a fourth item, I have to send this camera to all these different devices. So I've got a little distribution amplifier over there with 4 outputs that are going to all these different devices. And all of a sudden I've got 12 different cables or more going like spaghetti around my desk. And since there are no color-coded cables, like Ethernet cables, again, I can't hold up the green one. Since there are no color-coded HDMI cables, and if you know of some, put it in the comments. I'd love to find out if there are. Since I haven't found any, I have gone to the second easiest thing, which is to color code the ends with tape. Now again, I know they make color electrical tape, but I just went with the paper tape because I find paper tape, if it does come off, it's easier to replace. The electrical tape starts to unravel a little bit if it's sticky. I just decided to go with the paper tape. Maybe electrical tape is more your speed. Go for that. It's up to you. And I think this is going to work out great. I'll let you know again in a follow-up video in a couple months and let you know if this is still my modus operandi for managing all of my cables on my desk. With that, my name is Anthony Barocas for AIBA Communications. Thanks for watching.